Have you ever poured a glass of wine expecting, I don't know, one thing, and then suddenly you're just completely transported?
Oh, yeah, that element of surprise.
Exactly, that feeling, like discovering a hidden gem, something that just totally defies expectations. Well, today we're diving deep into exactly that kind of find.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What have we got?
It's the Château Phélan Ségur 2020, a
Sa-
Bordeaux from Saint-Estèphe.
Phélan Ségur. Okay. A very respected name.
Right. And our mission here is to really unpack why this specific vintage, which is, get this, priced under $50, has just completely captivated wine lovers and critics.
Under 50 from Saint-Estèphe.
Yeah.
In the 2020 vintage.
Yep. So what makes it such a standout, in the whole complex, often expensive world of Bordeaux? We've got tasting notes, reviews, even some advice on how best to enjoy it.
And that's exactly what makes this interesting, isn't it? Because Bordeaux, I mean, for so many people, it means high prices, complexity, wines you maybe shouldn't touch for years.
Totally. Decades sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So a wine from there that apparently delivers serious quality without that huge price tag, that whole punching above its weight idea. Well, that's definitely worth talking about.
It really is. Apparently, the first taste described in our source, it was like a proper double take moment.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like, picture this.
Huh.
Cozy Friday evening, sometime in 2025, pour a glass, and bam, instantly transported to Bordeaux. That surprise, finding that depth, that complexity for under $50.
Yeah, that's the hook. It challenges that whole idea that top Bordeaux has to cost a fortune.
It really does. But, I mean, in Bordeaux, how rare is that, really, to find something that good under, say, $50?
Honestly, it's pretty rare, exceptionally rare even. Usually that price-quality link, it holds pretty strong, especially in well-regarded areas like Saint-Estèphe.
Right.
So when our source gives it an 8.6 out of 10, look, that's not just good for the price. It's genuinely impressive. Finding that kind of score at 49.99 cents, it is like spotting a unicorn, as the review put it.
Okay, so unicorn level value. And the review lists some pretty specific pros, right?
Absolutely.
Exceptionally balanced fruit and structure working together. Remarkable value, obviously, for real Bordeaux quality.
Key point, that authenticity.
And it's approachable. Now, this is 2025 we're talking, so 5 years in bottle. But it still has, what, another 5-10 years potential?
Easily. It's got the structure for it.
Plus, that classic Saint-Estèphe character, but without being, overwhelmingly tannic. And versatile, good with food, good on its own.
It covers a lot of ground.
But there are always caveats, aren't there? What about the cons, so to speak?
Well, cons might be a strong word.
Yeah.
It mentions needing at least 30 minutes of decanting, which for serious Bordeaux is pretty standard, honestly.
Okay, so not really flaw, more of a characteristic.
Exactly. And look, it also notes it's not quite as complex as the estate's, top-tier bottlings, the ones that cost significantly more. Or maybe someone who only drinks super ripe, fruit-forward New World reds might find it a bit restrained initially. But again, these aren't really negatives. They're part of what makes it classic Bordeaux, that need for air, the structure. It's part of the charm, part of the deal. It's not trying to be something it's not.
Right, it's about managing expectations and knowing what you're getting. So, okay, let's get into the drinking experience itself. What's it actually like in the glass? Because this is where it gets interesting, and apparently step one is crucial.
Patience. Absolutely. The notes were really clear on this. Don't rush it. Give it that half hour minimum in a decanter. It apparently transforms the wine.
Transforms it how?
Well, once it opens up, the nose just comes alive. You get those classic Bordeaux aromas, first blackcurrant, definitely some dark plum, cedar notes.
Standard Bordeaux playbook so far.
Pretty much. But then you start getting these subtler things, little hints of tobacco leaf, and crucially this distinct graphite, sort of pencil-lead minerality.
Ah, the Saint-Estèphe signature.
That's the one. It really screams Saint-Estèphe.
Yeah.
And there's just a touch of vanilla, from the oak, but it's subtle, just adds complexity, doesn't dominate at all.
And on the palate, how does it feel?
It's described as medium to full-bodied, but with this real sense of poise, restraint even. The tannins are definitely there. You feel that structure, but they're described as polished.
Polished, meaning?
Meaning not harsh or gritty. They provide grip, structure, but without making your mouth pucker,
Yeah.
No hard edges. The review calls it a masterclass in balance between those tannins and the acidity.
It sounds really well put together, like everything's in the right place.
Exactly. And as you taste it, the mid-palate shows more layers, dark fruits again, but also things like spice box, some earthy notes developing. And what's impressive, especially for the 2020 vintage, which was quite warm.
Right, potential for overripeness there.
Yes. But this wine apparently keeps its cool. Nothing flabby or heavy. It stays elegant.
Yeah.
And then the finish. It lingers. Notes of espresso, dark chocolate. It just hangs around invitingly.
Okay, that sounds genuinely impressive, especially for the price. But that's one reviewer's take. What's the broader consensus? By 2025, what were other critics, other drinkers saying?
Yeah, good question. It seems the enthusiasm was pretty widespread. Professional critics were generally landing in the 92 to 94 point range.
Consistently high scores, then.
Very consistent. And the comments echoed that initial review, praising the balance, the value. One critic called it a textbook example of modern set of stuff that respects tradition.
That's high praise.
Another flat out said it outperforms many chateaux at twice the price point, which, points to a smart buying strategy. Look for these top cru bourgeois estates, especially in great vintages like 2020. They often deliver serious quality without the classified growth price tag.
And it wasn't just the pros, right? It sounds like it hit a sweet spot with regular drinkers, too.
Definitely. There's this anecdote about someone who usually drinks like big California cabs.
A different style entirely.
Right. And even they found this Phélan Ségur really appealing. Accessible, yet it still had that classic Bordeaux structure they weren't expecting to enjoy so much. It kind of speaks to this trend of Bordeaux becoming maybe a bit more modern without losing its soul,
A modern rebel makeover, as the source puts it. I like that.
And you see that reflected in consumer reviews, too. People often mention how drinkable it was relatively young compared to some Sena Steph that really demand patience.
Right, you don't always have to wait 15 years.
Exactly. There's this quote from a Wine.com reviewer. "The best under $50 Bordeaux I've purchased in years. Drinks like something twice the price." I mean, that sums it up pretty neatly, doesn't it?
It really does. Okay, so we've established it's a fantastic wine, great value. Let's get practical. You've got a bottle. How do you make it sing? Food pairings, serving. What's the advice?
Well, the good news is it sounds pretty food-friendly. Not described as a fussy wine.
Always a plus.
For sure. Some specific pairings mentioned that sound amazing. Herb-crusted rack of lamb. Mushroom risotto, those earthy notes would connect beautifully. Beef Wellington, another classic.
Okay, seeing a theme here. Richer dishes, but elegant ones.
Exactly. Also, aged hard cheeses, think Comté or an aged Gouda. And even duck breast, maybe with a cherry sauce, playing off the wine's fruit notes.
So the general idea is match that medium plus body, those refined tannins, with food that has some substance but isn't gonna completely clobber the wine's nuances.
Spot on. Let the wine shine too. And speaking of shining, temperature is key. Aim for that cellar cool range. 60, 65 Fahrenheit, about 16, 18 Celsius.
Why so specific?
Too cold, and those lovely aromas we talked about just won't show up. Too warm, and the alcohol can feel a bit too obvious, a bit hot.
Got it. And let me guess, decanting.
And decanting. Yes, we have to say it again. That 30 minutes minimum. It really does seem essential for this particular wine to open up and show its best.
Okay, essential advice. Now let's tackle the value question head on. Is it really worth the $49.99?
Well, look, $50 isn't exactly cheap for a bottle of wine for most people. Let's be clear about that.
Sure.
But in the context of Bordeaux,
Officially.
especially Sena Steph,
Yeah.
and from a vintage like 2020, yes. The consensus is absolutely yes. It hits that sweet spot where the quality you're getting feels like it belongs in a much higher price bracket.
And you put that next to, say, classified growths from 2020.
Exactly. You're looking at $100, $200, sometimes way more for those. Now, Phélan Ségur isn't classified. It's a cru bourgeois exceptionnel, which is still a mark of high quality.
But it performs like one?
It performs at a level that rivals many of them, year after year. And in a great vintage like 2020, combined with their careful work in the vineyard and cellar, they clearly nailed it.
So it's a smart buy, not just a lucky find.
Very smart. It's a great addition to a collection because it delivers huge pleasure right now in 2025, but it also has that backbone to evolve and improve for, say, another 5, maybe 10 years.
So you get both immediate enjoyment and aging potential.
Right. Unlike some super high-end wines you might feel almost scared to open, this one is practically begging to be drunk and enjoyed.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's apparently readily available on wine.com for that $49.99.
Okay, so final thoughts. Who should be actively seeking this wine out? Who is this really for, thinking about you listening right now?
Well, several profiles come to mind.
Go on.
Obviously, existing Bordeaux fans looking for top value, that's a given.
Makes sense.
Also, anyone who likes structured reds, but doesn't necessarily want to wait 10 or 15 years for them to become drinkable.
Right, that approachability factor again.
Yep. And maybe you're new to Bordeaux, you want to see what the fuss is about, get an authentic taste, but without, taking out a small loan.
This sounds like a perfect entry point then.
It really does. Collectors, too, if you want something that drinks well now and can age gracefully, and honestly, dinner party hosts.
Mm.
You want to pour something impressive that people will love, but maybe without the predictable big name label.
Understated class.
Exactly. It shows you know your stuff.
And what about specifically for Sana stuff? You mentioned its reputation.
Ah, yes. Good point. If you've maybe heard Sinus Steph can be a bit austere, a bit tough, especially when young. This wine sounds like a fantastic way to experience the appellation's character, that structure, that minerality, but in a more welcoming package. It bridges that gap beautifully.
So the final verdict from the source material seems pretty clear.
Unwavering, I'd say. The reviewer explicitly said they'd buy it again, and in fact had already bought more bottles, both for drinking soon and for laying down.
Can't get much clearer than that.
Not really. It feels like Château Phélan Ségur 2020 really captures what's magical about Bordeaux, but it does it without the sometimes intimidating baggage the region carries.
How would you sum up its personality?
Confident, but not flashy.
Right.
Structured, definitely, but not severe. Sophisticated, yes, but not stuffy or unapproachable. It just hits a wonderful balance.
So I guess the takeaway here is, in a world that's often full of marketing hype and, let's face it, some crazy wine prices, this bottle is kind of a refreshing reminder, isn't it?
Absolutely. A reminder that real quality, genuine character, it still exists at prices that don't require a second mortgage.
Makes you wonder what other unicorns are out there waiting to be found and how just, digging a little deeper, being informed, can lead you to some really fantastic, surprising wines.